Happy Friday. Let's try that again. Something was horribly wrong with StreamYard, and I talked for about a good 30 seconds and not realizing that it went back to not live again, which is weird. So we weren't simulcasting on all of our other networks there. So hopefully you guys can see me now. Happy Friday. It is September 2nd, Friday, my parents' 55th anniversary, and it is 110 degrees in Las Vegas. I fought my way through the summer for cooler double digits, and we're still in the triple digits. This is my time of year, my favorite time of the year, where we are usually heading into football season, daylight savings, Halloween decorations are starting to come out at Home Depot, and that usually means the leaves are starting to die and things are starting to get better. It's not. We're going to average about 108 degrees between now and next Thursday. So there seems to be no end in sight to my inferno, but hey, I'm here. So glad you guys can make it. This is going to be a relatively short Friday night stream, simply because I'm in the middle of a lot of stuff. Plus, we're probably going to be streaming for the better part of the weekend. The Sci-Fi Center Live overnight comes back tomorrow. Sorry I had to miss last week, but once a month we do our Rocky Horror Picture Show live presentation, and I had to be available for that. But this week we'll be back in earnest. We have a lot to cover, a lot of the usual weekly stuff to cover, like Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, a lot of the TV shows that we watch. I watched Power, Lord of the Rings show, Rings of Power. I can't even remember what it's saying after watching that. At least the first episode. We'll talk in detail about that. AEW All Out is this Sunday with the Trios Championship match. So the winner of which should be decided within the next hour on AEW Rampage. So the finals of that, CM Punk going up against Jon Moxley, part 2. I think they're going to throw us a curveball there. Somebody's going to make a surprise appearance. They made that all too easy. And then we'll be back streaming Sunday night right after Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, episode 3, which should be a really good episode. They're doing the time jump, so we're going to start getting into the nitty gritty of the betrayal, the dying, and the slicing and the burning. So let me go ahead and bring in my wingman again. How you doing, Thade?
What's up?
It looks like everything is working this time around. I felt real stupid.
Yeah, I kept trying to tell you in the back chat. I was like, dude, we are not live. We are not live.
Well, I'm looking at the thing because usually, it starts and it says in broadcast, and then I start flipping around, making sure I got all my windows while the intro plays. And then I looked over it again, and it doesn't say in broadcast anymore. I'm like, oops. So we got to back up again, like I said. And then, now we're on all of them, whereas we weren't on all the simulcasts on the different networks. The Point Extra Lounge, where it gave me green check. So we're good. All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for showing. Let's see who's still with us after that debacle. Hi, Stella. How you doing? Hey, Chappie. What's going on, man? I love the second episode of okay. You're talking about. Listen, I've only got past the first episode, so we're gonna go into that first as soon as I get a chance. Yeah, the first episode that I saw was really a slow paced, methodical. Listen, I have expressed many times on this channel, I'm not a huge Tolkien fan at all. It's on the ban list. I mean, as a joke. Listen, I have all the respect in the world for people who do like it, and I realize that watching this show now, I understand why I prefer other forms of storytelling than what he's ever gave me. Tolkien bores me to tears. It is a abstract Middle Earth type of fantasy. It's more ethereal than it is anything else, and I think that's just not for me. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just my preference. With House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, it seems to me it's more of a direct fantasy, a direct consequence, direct relatable human. It just fits me more better. Even when I was a kid and we had to read these books, I just never made the connection that a lot of people did as a kid. And I grew up with these books just like everybody else. They just bored me, and it's just the tone. But I will say, as far as this first episode goes, if you are not as familiar with Middle Earth, if you're not familiar with this genre of storytelling and this particular author, and you're looking for a place to get in, and it's such an intimidating world because there's so much out here, and if you're looking for a quick way in, this is it. That first episode lays out a lot of groundwork that's going to save a lot of people time, especially for those of you who do not want to jump in and read thick, bulletproof thick books and don't really want to get right into the movies, the 3 movies and The Hobbit and everything else, and Destiny, all that stuff. If that is too overwhelming for you and you're looking for a place to jump in, and this is coming from somebody who's not a Tolkien fan, this is it. This is a great way for you to jump in. It is a prequel. It takes place 1,000 years before the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings storyline, and it lays out a lot of the stuff that you're going to see and a lot of the consequences that you're going to see. So in my opinion, if you are into this or thinking about it and you haven't yet, this is a good place for you to jump in. So, but all you Tolkien heads out there that are just, bathed in this stuff, they did you right by this show. You can clearly tell where that money went. There is nothing skimped when it comes to production values. It is a beautiful show. I don't know if I'm going to continue watching it on because, like I said, the storytelling is just not for me, and Tolkien has never been. But that aside, the quality of the show, the look and the feel of the show is great. I don't know if I put it up there with Game of Thrones, but that's a preferential thing. I am biased towards Game of Thrones. So, and Game of Thrones gives me things that Tolkien never did as far as what I like, as far as that type of storytelling goes. But if you're into Tolkien, you guys got to be, I can't see anybody who's watched the movies and read the books that couldn't be happy with where they're at right now with this. So kudos to the people who put it together. Like I said, not a fan of the overall, universe myself, but like I said, if somebody came into the store and said, hey, you know what, I'm thinking about jumping into some of the Lord of the Rings TV shows, movies, all that, where do I start? This guy's going to tell you start with Rings of Power. I don't think you can hurt. I don't think you can cause anybody any confusion. I don't think you will steer them in the wrong path. I don't think there's anything to lose by a brand new Tolkien head starting right here with this series. Did you get a chance to watch it, Dave?
Yeah, I watched that first episode, and having read the books, and those movies.
You have not read the books, or have read the books?
Oh no, I have read every Tolkien book. I've read the Silmarillion. I've read the Lost Tales. I've read all of it. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Great look. Production value is amazing. Probably one of the prettier things I've seen in a little bit. And I've gotten a lot of content lately. But I will say I was bored to smeg in tears. Like, to all the people out there who said that this is not Tolkien, I refute you, because
no, it's Tolkien.
It's very Tolkien.
It's Tolkien.
It's very Tolkien. The problem that Tolkien has is what I like to call diarrhea of the word processor. The man had to describe every little branch of every little tree. I mean, literally, the first 3 chapters of Fellowship of the Ring is the care and feeding of your hobbit. I mean, it reads like a textbook, and this show is smegging slow.
Like a 1 hour. And here's what I tell you. I'm going to be 100% honest that I am biased towards horror. One of my favorite content creators, literally on paper, bores me to tears. That's Stephen King. Stephen King is one of the great minds to ever write. I love his stuff. I love The Stand. I didn't like reading The Stand because I thought that he spent a good chunk of that book describing things that really didn't lead to the substance of the story. But I love him and I love his storytelling. So I have the same problem with Stephen King as I do with Tolkien, but I'm just biased to the genre that Stephen King gives me.
So Stephen King, I started reading Stephen King when I was probably 9 years old. I read Pet Sematary. No, not Pet Sematary. Carrie. I read Carrie. And it was good. I like his writing. I liked his writing through my teenage years and everything. But I've recently tried to sit down and read one of his books. It's easier for me to do audiobooks now than it is to read the actual word on the page. But, he's been accused of having the same problem. You got a couple of 1,000-page books there with Stephen King. Just too much. Just too much. That's all I'm saying. And with the Rings of Power, man, guys, if you want to get into Tolkien, I'll agree with William. This would probably be a good jumping in spot, unless you want to, tackle the 12 hours worth of movies. Well, actually, more than that, 12, 6, 18 hours worth of movies now. With if you throw in the 3 Hobbit movies. Yeah, if you want to, I mean, the story's there, but it's just I couldn't engage with the characters. I actually set my device down and walked away to make me some food. And let me tell you, there's been no show lately that I have watched for any of these reviews that I've actually done that with. I actually set the phone down and walked away to make me some food. So it isn't catching my attention. I'll probably go back to it when it's all finished and done with, just so I can see the story. But beyond that, I'm not going to keep up with it.
Yeah. I see that I'm green. I don't know what the hell, man.
It's your lighting is weird, but
yeah, and there's only so much because I'm literally at my retail counter, so it's not too much. I put lights, I put the shade on because I thought it was the blue that comes in from the outside sky because I'm right next to a window, and I thought that was countering. I got the different hue on my light, and I can't find. This is the only place in the store that I'm green, and it's driving me crazy. But it's only on the higher end camera. So on my expensive camera, I'm green. On the crappy laptop camera, it's normal. So I'm assuming you guys are probably bigger tech heads than me. Is that the more expensive camera has a different, just takes in light probably differently or betterly, but betterly.
I got to answer something. I got to answer something in the chat.
Go ahead, man.
Jared, I'm not saying it's bad writing. I'm saying it takes a long ass time to get to the point. There's nothing wrong with the writing. If you like long drawn out episodes of television, then you're going to love this.
Yeah, hold on. And Jared, I'll back. Listen, it's very descriptive. And like I said, they made this for people who are in line with this. It's just not for me. But for what it is, it's quality shit, man. It's dude, from the opening when she's got the little boat and she's making the sailboat that goes down. The first 5 minutes of this show have better production value than some series that I've watched all the way through. It's just that for me, like I said, same thing with but like I said, I'm biased towards horror and slasher because otherwise I would never be into Stephen King. I am partial to Middle East, or not Middle East, Middle Earth type genre, like medieval stuff like this. But like I said, more the grittier, violent type. And I know somebody was telling me today while we were watching this is that because I rate things by all 3Ds, death, destruction, dismemberment. But and yeah, he actually pointed something out to me is that Lord of the Rings actually gives you that. It's how they give it to me that's different, and I think that's what is a difference maker for me. There's a lot of dialect in this show, and it's well done. If maybe my childhood would have changed if I could have watched Tolkien instead of having to read it as a kid. I might be into it right now because when you hear the words out on the screen when she's talking to her brother and when they're laying out everything, how the battle started, how everything was peaceful, and then things just went to shit. The way they described that was like, wow. If I'd have sat in front of this 30, 40 years ago, I think things would have changed. If we'd have had streaming and Amazon back in the 80s and stuff like that, when I was forced, to read this stuff, and I would have just been able to watch a show like this and be like, it made have caught on to me better and that's why I say, if you're going to get into this stuff, no matter how old you are, if you're going to take that first step in the Lord of the Rings, dude, this is it. And I've seen all the stuff. I've seen the movies.
I think my biggest problem with this episode is it's a lot of exposition. It's a lot of explaining things to us. And I've been used to just action from the start the last few shows that I've watched. So that's kind of been my problem. By the way, William, you've got a super chat.
Oops. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to solve my green problem. Okay, well, we're just going to have to save that for a different show. To be honest with you, I've been streaming on a different computer too. Remember, I was streaming my house. Hey, 4,000, thank you for the support. And the Poindexter Lounge on behalf of Enosh, I thank you for the support as well. William, you have to make sure that the lighting. Oh, hell, dude. You're talking astrophysics to me now. Okay, well, you have to make sure that the lighting has a high CRI level bulbs with low CRI will produce a green ally. Okay, fourth, I got a question for you. Then I have a ring light here. Am I just not doing it right, or should I just be turning this light off? How about that? See, it adds. Then now you just can't see me at all. Now I'm dark green. There's blue. Let's try this. Am I still green?
Hold on, let me see. Now you're blue.
How about now?
Less green, but still hawkish.
No, it's blue. How about that?
You're still green. You're still the Incredible William.
Well, you know what? I don't know, man. I go out and I spend the money on the good stuff, and it still looks like shit. But yeah, I think you're 100% right, because I think the crappier the camera I have, the less green I am. But thanks for the advice. I'm gonna have to play around. But once again, this isn't the optimum setup for me. I know we do a lot of streaming from here, but I'm making a studio area so that, mainly for our own channel. So when I do the when I do the As Seen on TV things, which are going to be a very important part of my channel, the live streaming stuff for the most part I'm going to keep to Point Action Lounge. But the pre-produced stuff, like the stuff we do with Sci-Fi Center Presents, and then like the As Seen on TV, where I give you 5 to 15-minute clips of the comparisons between TV and the paper medium. Very first one I'm going to do is actually going to be on Sunday. It's going to be like a 10-minute clip, and it's going to be about the Sandman. And it's basically going to, and this is not for people who know the Sandman really well. You're welcome to watch, but this is for people, and these will play in the story. These are for people who like, hey, you know what? I have Netflix. I watched Sandman on Netflix. I'm interested in going further with the characters, and this is going to allow me to say, okay, you watch basically what is book 1 and book 2, the Doll's House, and the Corinthian, all these characters that you're interested in. We're going to give you a basic layout of it, and then I'm going to have our trade paperbacks and all of our stuff, because it's cheaper to buy it that way. And it's going to say, hey, if you really want to dive into it, trade paperback right here. Here's Death, the Time of Your Life, and here's Dream Country, and here's some new stuff from Black Label. With the Corinthian in it, because he's my favorite character of the whole thing besides Death. There's a lot of ways you can go, but the way the series is laid out, it is the first books of the Sandman that were released. So we're going to start you out with that. So when you see me on those things, it's going to be on a different, totally, there's actually a green screen over there, and then you'll see me standing there, and then my sister's going to produce and edit all the overlays in. So this is basically, as you notice, I've been trying to do as little live streams from here as possible, because the center's, it's a retail location, and there's certain lights I have to be able to light merchandise. And when I turned out the lights, you can kind of see my open sign is literally flashing. But we're developing an area over there. I'll be standing the whole time that we do the show, and luckily it'll only be about an hour and a half. But I think the lighting issues, I'll be able to make the adjustment better, because right now I'm dealing with store lighting and the ring lighting, and it's like gamma. So excuse the green for this time around, but thank you for the super chat, Fourth Without, and thanks for the advice. I truly believe you are 100% right. Oh well, let's go down to some of the an AEW question. No, but I think I know who it's going to be. I think the wild card is going to show up in the main event. I think MJF is going to cause John Moxley the title. So that's my guess for All Out, among other things. Right? I mean, AEW usually does a good job as far as bringing in people that are, that haven't been around for a while, or they're just under contract, whatever. This All Out is very interesting. Like I said, the 2 matches for All Out, and we'll get to that. I'm all over the place today. The 2 things that I'm looking forward to with All Out is the trios match. And like I said, Rampage airs here in about 5 minutes, in the finals of the Rampage side of the trios championship tournament is on that end. So I think it's going to be the Dark Order. I forgot who they're playing, but the matches so far that have been on Dynamite have been the tournament for me. You had Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks going up against Will Ospreay and All the Open. and then prior to that, you had them both going up against Pentagon, Death Triangle, and Rampage has had the lesser of the matches. So, but like I said, I am going to not AEW, New Japan event for my birthday next week. So, I will not be doing a live stream Game of Thrones till later on in the night, by the way. But I'll be on there from the wrestling event too. So. All right, yes, hit the like button. Let's see. I just want to make sure that everybody. Do I like the films? I like the quality of the films, but once again, the tone of the films I just was never for. And like I said, they are great, epic things. And Peter Jackson and all the people who won those Academy Awards are very deserving of them. It's just like it just was. It's like what's the word? What's the horror movie like Dead Alive or what's another Simon Pegg? What's the Simon Pegg movie? Why is everything slipping my brain today?
Shaun of the Dead.
But Shaun of the Dead were okay. I'm a zombie type movie. I mean, more so years ago before they ran the genre into the ground. But that type of zombie movie doesn't do justice for me as a straight up, Living Dead type one where, it's just more serious. Shaun of the Dead's a great movie. It's an all-time classic. But for my preference, it's the tone of things that pretty much set me on my path. So Lord of the Rings were great movies. They just weren't for me. Tolkien doesn't speak to me in the same way that other movie makers and content creators, even though he's been gone for a while. Everybody who's done his content, though, is so true to what he is that, they're basically speaking for him. Peter Jackson did a great job speaking for him as far as on that level. And so does the people who put this together. I mean, literally, it's instantly recognizable as his work. Instantly. Probably better than some of the other stuff that I've seen. So, all right. Let's see some of the other questions. Okay. Let's see. Have you ever watched anything? All right. Ibrahim. Okay. Ibrahim, let me know if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. It's really important that I at least try to pronounce people's name wrong. I think I'm saying it right, Ibrahim Khan. All right. I have never watched anything Game of Thrones, so I don't know how to compare it to Lord of the Rings. I don't want to over-explain it for you because I really think you have to experience it just like I had to experience everything else with like Lord of the Rings. It is a little bit more contemporary and brutal. In my opinion, Lord of the Rings is more of an abstract, more of a magical mythological thing. There are magic and myth in Game of Thrones, but they're more brutal. They're more direct. Like, like a lot of the intrigue and the death that happens in Lord of the Rings, it happens differently in Game of Thrones. It's much more brutal. It's much more abrasive. It's much more callous. And, it's much more relatable, in my opinion, to humans. Like the cold callousness, the way people are treated like trash and the way they treat, women like trash. These are all things that are historically here now that you kind of just, with Lord of the Rings, there's a suspension of a belief that you have to have going into it that I just don't have. I just never had.
To me, it's realism versus fantasy. Like Lord of the Rings is more magical, fantastical, whatever. The Game of Thrones is more brutal, in your face, realistic, gritty.
With fantasy. There's
with
fantasy.
fantasy.
There's dragons, there's magic, there's zombies, there's undead. It's just the way it's been presented to me. And this is coming from my background as growing up as a horror fan and a science fiction fan. So I was a fantasy fan last. I was a science fiction and horror fan, comic book nerd first. So I think it's just preferential to me because of how I came up through these genres. So there's no wrong answer. I mean, if you came up through Tolkien, then you're going to have a different perspective, and you may look at some of the stuff that I watch as being a little bit more Cro-Magnon. I mean, and you might be right. Who knows? It's a different point of perspective. Like I was telling him before, had I seen this episode back when I was in school, and this is the way Tolkien has been presented to me, might have been a change in my life. Might have been a really different William that grew up, because like I said, we didn't have it presented to us. We had books, and we had some really shitty cartoons. That's what we had growing up, and they were all boring. And then as I grew into adulthood, we ended up having the movies, which mirrored the books and it just basically mirrored the same tone that had turned me off when I was a kid. But like I said, watching Rings of Power, I'm like, okay. Like I said, too bad I didn't have this sitting in front of me as a kid, or else I might have been a bigger Tolkien fan than anybody. But it was just it's just a different vein. So let's see how a show looks. Yeah, he can't, especially when it's I think it's a lot of the disconnect between him and the actual people who are doing the shows. I very rarely, and he admits this too, is that when they translate his stuff into moving motion pictures and shows, a lot of the times they lose a lot of it. I mean, I think, to be honest with you, one of the best adaptations of it was a movie that didn't do that good in the box office is Dr. Sleep. I think Dr. Sleep, as far as how things go in the book, is a better representation of The Shining than the actual movie that got released in the 70s was. So let's see what we got here. I'll turn off my ring light. Let's see. Let's go. Let's turn it off. Oh, wow. That's really awful, though. Now you can't see me at all. I'm not
now it's
green.
shadow, William.
Nah, I'm not green, but you can just see my eyes. Yeah, we'll work on the lighting. Damn flies. We'll work on the lighting. But like I said, this is all temporary. When I'm in the other setup, I've ordered one of those huge ass ring lights that the camera, a much better camera, just sits in. Because right now I'm using, I can't really show you, but I'm just using one of the Logitech USB cameras. It's a brand new one, and it's what I bought it, and it's on a stand. If you guys have noticed from my old way I was doing it just from the camera, and it was much closer to me. But I went out and got a stand and a fucking kill this fly. I thought I was doing a good thing by getting better technology. Got the new mic and everything. I got another one set up at the house, so I don't have to keep breaking the mics, tearing up the thing. But yeah, I'm gonna work on that. Hopefully, I have everything set up because I have another light for Game of Thrones on Sundays. Because the other night I was dealing with not casino lighting, but bar lighting, and that was, holy crap, that was wretched. It was, but like I said. All right, love the Salmon on Netflix. Hope it gets. I really do. It's a very expensive show to make. I understand, but sometimes, and I know Netflix is cutting costs and all that. And if they don't do it, I hope somebody else picks it up. This is one of the things that if Netflix does not do it because it's not cost effective, I hope that that's just something that HBO Max should pick up as an investment because it's going to get them viewers. It got Netflix viewers, so, and it's a DC product, so why not? All right. No, Megan Thee Stallion is actually real. In fact, you know what? Let's get on to because we gotta. I actually had that brought up. Yeah, listen. The reaction to She-Hulk, the episode was good, by the way, but the reaction to She-Hulk in the Megan Thee Stallion post-credit scene where she's twerking, I thought it was fun. I'm not watching She-Hulk for Logan type storytelling. I'm watching She-Hulk to be presented as the way they've always presented this character. I mean, it would be different if it was Matt Murdock or something on there, and they were and he was twerking with a lecturer or something like that. Then I could understand it. And they were and he was twerking with a lecturer or something like that. Hold on, I got it. Then I could understand. Now I'm echoing. Well, I'm having all kinds of issues today. I'm not even on another YouTube channel. Let's see. All right. So there it is. Did you watch this, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, let me turn the sound down. Look, I'm going to play it. I'm going to turn the sound down, but I gotta mute it because I don't want to. I've escaped copyright strike so far. There we go. This is hilarious.
I like how our boss is like, I bet. I'm out.
What was wrong with this?
Nothing wrong with this, man.
I mean,
Every
I woke up to some of the silliest stuff that
look,
they've reached a
look,
new low, and I'm like, what? It was funny,
look.
and
This
I'm
isn't
not
the
a comedy
only.
guy.
This isn't the only MCU character that's danced around silly. It's just the first female that has. People getting bent out of shape at it over this of just being silly.
Now, and
And,
I
and
know,
and furthermore, all the people who say that Stan Lee would have been embarrassed by that, no.
dude,
This is a
Stan Lee would have
guy.
been in the scene. Stan Lee would have been in the scene.
Yeah,
He would
Stan
have
Lee
been the
would have
boss.
like,
Stan Lee would have been the boss that walked in. Instead of her boss walking in, that would have been Stan Lee's cameo. He would have walked in
yeah,
and he would have said Excelsior or something crazy. He didn't
yeah,
listen. Stan Lee had fun. You know, things got weird for Stan Lee at the end with all the people grifting on him, all that. But for the 94 years that Stan Lee was on this planet, for all everything I can ever tell, that man had fun. So this was fun. I mean, like I said, it was not out of context of the character, especially this version of the character, because this is basically John Byrne's She-Hulk.
yeah.
Everything that they've done in this series is emblematic of John Byrne's She-Hulk. Which now, if you don't like that portrayal of She-Hulk, which is the most successful version of her, then yeah, you're gonna have an issue. And there's a lot of people that had an issue with Megan Thee Stallion. She's very controversial. I understand, and she's just say that if you have young kids, she's not suitable. Her lyrics are not suitable for your little boy or little girl. All right, that's I give you that. And so if you start Googling like, oh, who's Megan Thee Stallion, and okay, you might get some stuff in the search engine that's not G-rated.
No,
But
it's not.
yeah, it's just like mommy, what's WAP? Oh, okay. Yeah, get out of that. Get out of that window. So that part I understand.
Right.
But the actual scene itself, I thought was hilarious, and
Look,
it's in line with this character. So
I think it's funny, all the people that are like, oh, they're destroying She-Hulk as a character. Like, no, seriously, read early 90s John Byrne, Sensational She-Hulk.
yeah, the one
This
that
show
lasted the
is
longest without getting canceled.
this show is so much like I would almost like accuse them of plagiarism, how this is so much John Byrne. I mean, like,
Yeah,
this show is freaking amazingly funny. And look, not everything MCU is going to be taken seriously. Okay? I know a lot of people have a problem with the humor in the MCU movies. Look, life is humorous, people. And Marvel has always been the world outside your window. Okay? There's awkward moments in life, there's awkward, weird, comedic things that happen. Not everything is doom and gloom. And if that's what you want in your entertainment, that's fine. But don't
and there's
watch
plenty of other
movies.
series for that. There's plenty of series for that.
Yeah,
There's Moon Knight for that. There's all kinds of series that you can do that that fits. But She-Hulk's not one of them. I'm sorry, She-Hulk is not one of them. Deadpool is not one of them. If that was
no.
Deadpool, nobody would have an issue with it Deadpool. Deadpool, I mean, I know exactly what song Deadpool would have been doing it to. So there's no. I woke up and I saw that. Like I said, I made the mistake of waking up in the morning, and why am I now going? I went years and years with ignoring Twitter, but all of a sudden, it's how I send out my messages to people with links and everything else. So I go into Twitter and I see some people saying this is a shame and the outrage. I'm like, dude, so much in the world to be outraged. A big 6'8" fictional green woman twerking to a lady who days before, by the way, took a fan's phone. So a fan threw their phone on the stage. And while it was still recording, Megan Thee Stallion looks down at it and just twerks in the face of the screen and then gives the phone back to the fan. That's who she is. I think she's fun. Is her music my taste? Not. Listen, her, Cardi B, Lady Gaga, people that are just doing what they like to do and they're having fun. If she wants to get up there and shake her ass and fill stadiums doing it, do it. I had no problem with it at all. I think it's hilarious that some of the stuff. I mean, like I said, there are other problems that you could have with She-Hulk, but that ain't one of them. And like I said, I found the show rather enjoyable, even though, like I said, it's a little bit slapstick, but I understand that this is what the character's been for most of her existence. You know what?
Dude, speaking of slapstick, Could you imagine if we ever get the character slapstick in an MCU property?
I'm
Dude
having
was a
Howard the
living
Duck lives.
Dude
I'm
was a
having Howard the
living
Duck.
cartoon, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we want all that. So let's see. We've covered Lord of the Rings. Okay, so a recap of Lord of the Rings, Power of the Rings. Not for me. That's preference. That does not mean it's not recommended. It all depends on who you are and how you like your fantasy stories told to you. If you like it this way, then you're gonna love this because it's done very well. Kudos to everybody involved in doing it. And like I said, this show could have changed things for me decades before my hatred of the boredom that is Tolkien set in. If this show had been there first, who knows where I would be now? I mean, who knows how I view Game of Thrones? I might view Game of Thrones adversely or co-equally. I mean, who knows? But unfortunately, this came out in 2022 and not 1982. So I'm entrenched in my ways. Tolkien's already on the ban list. So it is what it is. But like I said, the first episode that I watched, I would hope that they picked up the pace with it. But you know what? It's not, that's not for me to say. It's more for Tolkien fans. And how slow is it for you? Are you enjoying the show? I mean, if you are, have you seen the second episode? I have not seen the second episode. I will watch the second episode because it's available to me. But who knows where I'll go from there? I'll take it a minute by minute basis. So, all right, let's go back to the
Speaking of William, mentioning Stephen King earlier, they just dropped Storm of the Century on Hulu, and it's unrated cut.
Oh,
just a little FYI.
All right. I was wondering if you guys were going to watch anything for National Cinema Day with the 3. No. I am going to be finishing up my fake Iron Throne later on tonight. Then I have to be here all day because it's Saturday. So, and I haven't seen anything that people are that's in the theater right now that I haven't already seen a bunch of times on the big screen. I know I'm glad they're doing a $3 cinema because going to the movies is expensive. We give away hundreds and hundreds of tickets a year, sometimes thousands of free tickets a year when we're doing for movie promos. And I know it is a big deal when we're able to give them to whole families because that takes $150 load off their mind with snacks and gas and everything else included, depending on how many kids you got. So for $3 cinema day, I'm all for it. I'm happy that people are going to be able to, cut that price $7, probably $7 to $10 off of that price, depending on how many you're taking. So this is good. I hope it gets people back in the theaters. And while you're at the theater, if you're in the financial place to do so, I know it's expensive, but theaters don't make a lot of money off of the actual movie itself. They make their money off of the soda, the popcorn, the hot dogs, and all that stuff. They are big into that. So when you're at a theater, hey, I'm getting wings and chicken delivered to me by Sister Kim's. I can't wait till you guys open, man. You're going to be sitting right next to me. Sister Kim's, by the way, real quick ad for them. They're opening up in the plaza that I'm in right now. They have something called loaded fries. We're going to live stream me eating them bad boys, and you'll understand then. But yeah, right now they just gave me wings. And yeah, the show will start. Oh, I can smell the styrofoam. Thanks, man. All right. Sorry, but hey, these guys, listen. They were vendors here when we do our outside and our drive-in stuff, and I love their food so much I convinced them to move into one of the spots here. So that's where I'm at with those guys. Where was I? Oh yeah. When you're speaking of food, when you're at a theater, I know people sneak food in, they sneak candy in, and I understand. My old man was where I got my cheapness from. He would sneak in. I mean, you do it. These days, though, like I said, with theaters after COVID, theaters trying to hang on. That's all they make. The margin, profit margin for a theater is almost nothing. They make it all from that popcorn. So yeah, popcorn's expensive, but that's how the theater is still there. Because so many people get their cut. We always talk about when a movie makes $1 billion, the studio doesn't get all that. There's so many people that get paid out of that $1 billion that it doesn't sound like $1 billion once it's all cut up. And the theaters get their percentage out of it, but their cost of running a theater is huge. A lot of those theaters are on rented property. I know all the ones here, the AMC, they're on rented property. So even when COVID was down and stopped people from being able to show movies in theaters, they were still paying for that. So now it's slowly coming back, but they're dealing with streaming. I think streaming is the future. I think there's going to be a hybrid. I think that the theater world is going to change and going to have to make some concessions. I still do want it to be around, though. I don't want the theater industry to die. Even though there's a reality of streaming is there, I don't want theaters to die, and I still think there's a happy medium to be able to have both on there. Because without streaming, certain movies that I like would never get a chance on the big screen because the budgets would never get approved. But with Netflix and Amazon and things like this, I get a chance for some of the movies I like to actually get made. But $3 cinema day tomorrow, when you're there, if you're not, strapped for cash, they're doing this to get, like I said, the National Theater Day. But like I said, this is an important one because it's getting people back in there. So support your
local theaters.
Yeah. You're getting a cheap ticket tomorrow, so buy some popcorn, keep those theater staff guys that clean all that sticky shit off the ground and, all the stuff you spill, all the stuff like that to clean in, and especially during COVID when they had to clean up everything and the cleanliness. I mean, they had to up their game to the point where you felt safe. So right now to answer your question on I'm sorry. There's nothing right now that I want to see. I mean, if somebody pops up with Blade Runner, then yeah, I'm there. I'll close the store down for that. But I've seen that movie 2,000 times. Okay, so I am pronouncing it right. Okay, so I'm not screwing up. This is the one thing I'm not screwing up today. I'm green. I went 30 seconds without being live, and so hey, I'll get it. Like I said, that's frustrating because if I switch back to my cheap ass laptop, there won't be any green, but you'll get a screwy angle from me. So I'm gonna have to play around with that. I'm gonna be sitting in StreamYard just talking to myself. All right, I don't mind magical. It just needs to be constant control. Yeah. That I agree with 100%. You know what? That's a second. That's a second. And plus, I like his short stories better too. But yeah, but for me, it's Dr. Sleep is tops. But yeah, the Mist is arguably up there. All right, let's see. Yeah, you know what though? That movie almost didn't get made because remember, The Shining wasn't the most. It's a revered movie now, but you're making a sequel to a movie that most people didn't make the connection to. I'm glad they made it. Yeah.
What's funny is, Stephen King has always had a problem with the Kubrick The Shining. But when Dr. Sleep was made, he actually reconciled himself with Kubrick's Shining.
Yeah.
He's okay with it now.
40 years later, thanks a lot.
Well, we're talking about a guy who holds a grudge. I mean, come on.
I'm glad he's changed, though. He's not like Alan Moore. Alan Moore doesn't want to see any of his stuff adapted. And you know what? I'm glad people don't listen to him because V for Vendetta is great. The Watchmen, both ones, TV and movie, are great. His stuff is great on screen. I mean, I wish he would embrace it more, but at least Stephen King has done that.
Now, I do want to answer Larry Kowardowitz in the chat.
You pronounce that right?
I hope so. Kowardowitz, right? I hope I pronounced your name right.
Kortowitz. I think it's Kortowitz.
We were going to get a Dark Tower series that was going to be made by Amazon, but it has been since shelved. Not indefinitely, but they have shelved it for the time being. So
because of that awful Idris Elba movie with that had the potential to be
actually
great.
No, there's some rights issues. That's why they
for Amazon?
There's some for Amazon there's some rights issues.
How they could buy anything.
I don't know exactly what it is. They shot the pilot, but there was an issue going on with the transference of the rights for the Dark Tower property.
That sounds silly.
So they have shelved it for now until they can fix the problem. I've been keeping up with that because the Dark Tower stuff is like my favorite Stephen King stuff. So
it was until book 7. Book 7 was bullshit. I'm sorry, book 7 was
book
bullshit.
seven, okay,
Right here.
book 7.
If I have, hey, Stephen King, if you're watching this show, then you're desperate anyway. But if we ever have Stephen King on here, I will praise you for your work. I will praise you for the influence on science fiction and horror and fantasy that you've had. But the last half of Dark Tower was bullshit. And
Yeah,
that ending was a ripoff.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, legal messed up. They're right now they're trying to fix the problems. So it's shelved for now, but it's not indefinitely gone. Also, and that's another thing that came to mind, rights wise. Hold on, just let me think of what I was thinking here. Uh, yes, I actually love the dark. Like I said, I love the Dark Tower stuff, especially how it connects to everything else. Um, but yeah, I will. If you guys keep watching us, if anything comes up, I will let y'all know. Larry, if I hear anything on it, it's one of the things that I've been keeping an ear out for. Um, what was I thinking? I had another thing to say, but I guess it'll come to me here in a minute. Um, but yeah, so. Ooh. And William has gone away. Oh, so it is just me right
No,
now.
I'm
Oh, there he
here.
is.
I'm just
Okay.
I'm trying something with the camera real quick. So, but yeah, that last episode, the Dark Tower, when I'm reading it, and I had spent I had done so many book reports when it came to the Dark Tower and all the books as they came out. So the ones that were already out when I was a kid, and just following all the outlier books and all the connections. How they had the connections to where like Atlanta. I mean, all the books that were
Hearts in
all
Atlantis.
that was supposed to be
The connections to the stand, the
yeah.
connections to
The direct connection with the stand.
yeah.
So
See,
hopefully,
okay, so with book 7, most of book 7 was good. The battle at the camera toy, all of it up until they get to where everything comes back around again. That ending was cheap. That ending was cheap.
it for everybody. Spoiler alert: if you haven't read the 7th book, thank you, Sade. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, okay, but yeah. So that's what I mean by the second book or the 7th book being a ripoff. After that long journey, after all that,
Well,
to have
literally,
that
for
ending.
me, that book is good up until you get to the last like 100 pages.
But that last 100 pages strips away a lot of. Oh,
Yeah, you are correct. That like I said, the whole ending of it is just cheap, and I don't like that. He cheaped us out on the last like 100 pages. Before that, everything's good. But yeah, William's got a point though. It's a huge build up to that last 100 pages killing things. Yes, I've actually read both versions of the Gunslinger. I prefer the updated version, but I am old. I am an old man, so I read those books as they came out as they were published. So it's nice long amount of time that he wrote those books. I think he took like 30 years nearly to write those books. So sorry guys, William will return to us here shortly. Uh
all right. Well, yeah, I tried. I was messing around with trying to go back to the laptop camera,
right.
and not. Yeah, whatever. But at least, like I said, I think I'm less green now. I'm just less
Huh,
darker. Yeah.
you're a little less green. You're not so hulkish.
I'm gonna make fun of that. I should have put my game. Like I said, this is not this is not the current setup. I know this is where we've done all of our other stuff, but there's actually we used to have a green screen because we used to do other people's podcasts and stuff here, and they used to do tutorials there. But I kept the wall green, so we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff there. Where like I said, I'll be standing in front of stuff, and then we'll do most of the stuff you see from my YouTube channel will be edited. But like I said, the live streams, like this live stream that we do here, will be the only one that's usually done here at the store. The other one, the Game of Thrones one, will be done at the bar, which I have another more powerful light, and they've actually set up a whole setup for me down there. And if everything goes right, that show is going to be opening up with me sitting in our new throne, so that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, well, like I said, I'm a little bit green, a little bit less green.
Okay, so Abraham, as for Avatar and the sequel, I was okay with the original Avatar. I prefer the extended version rather than theatrical. As for the sequel, I'm gonna watch it. I will hold my opinion of the sequel until it gets here and until I've seen it. So
I'm obligated because it's technically it's science fiction. But even when the first original came back, I mean, it was all new to me, and IMAX was still different. That was when they locked you into the seats in IMAX and all that. So much has changed. So I'm kind of taking a lot of that for granted now. One of the things I wanted to get to is, listen, if you've been on the stream, what do you guys know what my favorite movies are? Can anybody guess?
I could tell them.
You can tell them, but it's something is coming up, something is happening that might replace all of that. That might replace everything. That might change the way I view all this stuff. And here it is, guys. Blood and Honey.
No, God.
Blood and Honey. Blood and Honey may replace The Godfather for me. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey may replace Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049 in my lore, in my skull. This movie I've been waiting for all my life. Ever since I saw Winnie the Pooh, I envisioned Winnie the Pooh being a mass murdering serial killer. This movie has been moving towards me. Me and this movie have been moving towards each other since I was born, and now it's here. And I can't play the trailer because the trailer is fucking gruesome, and it'll get a copyright strike. YouTube the trailer. You understand. This movie was probably made for $8, and all 8 of it was spent well. The premise of it is it made. I don't cry much, like I told you. I may cry at this movie.
But they'll be happy tears. But they'll be happy tears.
Tears of honey.
Yes. I think this may be the slasher movie I need. I think this may be the slasher movie I need.
I mean, let's see something. I'm gonna shut the. I'm gonna cut it off when I think. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to be really careful. There's no sound because the deal, but look at that. This is Christopher Robbins, and basically what the premise is that as he grew up, he abandoned his fantasy, his bear, and look at the honey, look at that. And he's abandoned these childhood figures, right? So now they're angry. So now they've gone on to killing. Without him, he was their tether to humanity. So now they're killing. Look at this. Oh, this is. I'm crying now. You can't see it on the screen, but I'm tearing up right now because when entertainers speak to me, when entertainers know what I want, it is where are we at? Look at that. This is all I could have ever wanted.
Oh, yes. Yes, get her. Get her.
Piglet with an axe. Piglet with an axe. Look at that. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so there you go, guys. There you go. This is it. This is the movie that just I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Yes, Ibrahim, it is going to sweep the Oscars.
Oh,
It is going to
yeah,
sweep the
okay.
Oscars.
I did remember the bit of news that I wanted to tell everybody, but I'll tell them after we get done talking about this amazingly enormous movie coming.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey looks terrible, but it kind of be very no. This does not look terrible, Chappie. This looks great. I know what you mean. You mean great. Top notch acting, yeah. Listen, when it's horror movie and slasher, all I ask you to do is be what you're meant to be. All right. If you're in a horror, if you're not the main person, the survivor at the end, then your job is to die. That's it.
And to die, making me smile.
Yeah.
And to die making me smile.
There's not going to be anything about Christopher Robin's human interest is his childhood coming back to kill all his friends. That's the human interest. There are all 3Ds. All 3Ds are in the trailer. We're not even to the movie yet. There's death, dismemberment, and destruction in the trailer. I'm there. First day. Midnight releasing. Preview screening. I'm there. And I might be wearing a piglet mask with an axe. I might cosplay for this movie. All right. The Flash, Black Adam. No. Blood and Honey.
No, we're going to go see Blood and Honey. We're going to be wearing masks.
That's the movie. They might not want to even let me in the theater. They're gonna be like, "What's why are you with what's with the jar of honey?" Listen, I'm in the mood. I'm in my mind.
I'm in character, man. I'm in character, man.
You're lucky I only came with honey because it's called Blood and Honey. You could have been worse. I can't wear my piglet mask in the theater. Fine, I'll live stream afterwards and I'll wear it. This is the movie.
Fourth, yes, I am actually looking forward to Terrifier 2. That trailer looked amazing.
Yeah, because I mean, how can you touch one? But yeah, they're going to outdo themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. Everything I ever wanted in a movie: the destruction of people's childhood fantasies, death and destruction. I'm all for it.
So the news that I had, they have finally solved the lawsuit between Miller and Cunningham on the Friday the 13th properties. So we are probably going to
have they both agreed not to make any more Friday the 13th movies?
No.
We all lost.
We're probably going to get some more Friday the 13th movies coming soon.
Let it go. Hey, listen, Fourth 1000. I don't know what kind of show you think this is. I didn't notice any of that in here. We are a pure as a driven snow show here at the Point Next Show.
We're a family show, Fourth. We are a family show. Okay.
I'm almost certain that there's not going to be any boobs in this show or in this movie. There may not even be any. Hey, listen. Who knows? That trailer could be lying to us. There may not even be any dismemberment in this movie.
No. Say it isn't so.
If there isn't, I'm going to walk out, dude.
I'm going to be mad.
This movie, I don't go see movies over and over again. I might not leave the theater until I've seen this a second time. This is great, dude. I mean, forget about Pierce Brosnan. Forget about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. If you're going to boycott any of these movies, The Flash, make sure, hey, I wish $3 Cinema Day tomorrow that this was in there because I would see it enough time to make up for one full-price movie ticket. Yes, this is a family show. Yes, it is. Yes. There are no double Ds here, only 3Ds. Yeah, I'm talking about dismemberment and destruction on our family show, so I think I've already gone off the road.
We've gone off the rails. We've gone off the rails.
Blood and Honey. I'm so happy to know that this movie's coming out. When's the release date on this thing? Boy, this is I don't know. I got to find out. It's coming soon, though. But like I said, it doesn't matter when it.
Give me a minute. I'll find it.
Yeah, I'll be there. Hey, dude, release it on Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, I'm going to be at the theater with my buddies dressed up as Pooh and Piglet. Hey, there's no Eeyore in this trailer. And according to the story, something awful has happened to Eeyore that might have set all this off. So this movie could be even more horrific than the trailers are showing you or that its name implies. So Let's do it. Let's. I hope I get to promote that movie. I don't know who's I got to find out from my intermediates if any of them are working with this movie, because this movie is going to need some heavy promotion. I don't think there's a better person to help promote this movie than me. We do a lot of crazy stuff to promote movies, but for Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I'm in Vegas too. Oh, geez. We might not be able to air the stuff I could promote. So, yes, finally, real cinema is back, Abraham. Exactly. They were all waiting for Blood and Honey. Let's see. Sweet, can't wait. Haven't gotten a great, really good Friday today. Haven't had a great Friday the 13th movie since about 25 years ago, maybe. Actually, after Friday the 13th 6, it gets really awful for me. The one in space, I think, was the one Jason Takes Manhattan. These are horrible movies. Awesome.
Actually, the remake, the most recent remake wasn't too bad.
Ugh, I hated that movie. That and the Halloween remakes and the Rob Zombie remakes. Ugh. So that's what we have to look forward to. We also have AEW All Out. I put that in the thing, but we talked about it briefly. We're going to have a good lineup for that, but I'm going to go into more depth of that tomorrow night when we do our overnighter, because it's going to be the night before the rave review. We covered Winnie the Pooh. We covered Megan Thee Stallion twerking with a 6'8" fictional character that everybody seems to have lost their shit over. Let's see. Do we?
Okay, we do not have an official release date on Blood and Honey yet.
Damn it! You got it.
They did wrap filming in May, though. Like 20 million, something like that.
No way! That is not a $20 million movie, Dave. Keep looking. There's 3 zeros in there that can't be there. I'm sorry. There's no way. Wait, no. Let me look that up. If that's 20 million, I'm
looking that up.
Somebody got fleeced. And I'm okay with it being a low budget horror, but if that's 20 million, somebody needs to get a lawyer. No, that's let me look at this one, guys. If you guys in the chat find it before we do, it cannot be. Let's see, Blood and oh man, it's not even on. It's not. It's probably undisclosed. It's probably a tax write-off. Because Blumhouse spends more on their movies, and their movies are only Blood and Honey budget. Let's see. 13 million?
Yeah.
What? Holy shit. What?
Yeah. Wow.
On what?
On what?
This is wrong. This can't be the same Blood and Honey movie. No, this is the Land of Blood and Honey. No, this is different. Okay, no. Whew. All right, let's see. Okay, there's 2 different movies. That's at 13 million for that. Let's see. Winnie the Pooh, low budget. Okay, let's see if we can find out here. All right, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey budget. People all over the internet are very excited about the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey movie, which is now called Famous Winnie the Pooh. They added Winnie. Oh my goodness, they're showing the mask for it. People laughed and gave it a shrug. I didn't laugh. I cried. It doesn't tell me the budget. Okay, hold on. Wait, now this is bullshit. Many people have talked about how much Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey budget. This is bad. This has been translated, so sorry. If most movies cost about the same, this would mean that each one of them cost $250 million to make. Okay, we know that that's not true. Yet, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey budget is approximately $250. Okay, this is some fan. Okay, we're never gonna find this out. This can't be $1 million, dude. This cannot be. This has to be one of those miracle movies that's made. Wow, there's nobody.
Hold on, I'm checking Slash Film. Slash Film.
Yeah, I saw an article, dude. If it's over $1 million, I want to know where the other 900,000 went.
Right.
I mean, especially if they filmed it around Halloween, because you can get half that stuff on sale on November 1st. Doesn't mean that this isn't going to be a great movie and the movie that I've been waiting for my entire time on this planet. But it ain't no 20 million. I'm sorry. That's 20 million. Somebody's in trouble. That's money laundering right there. Hey, what's going on, Damon?
we have a mob film here. A mob film.
Yeah. That was Thank you for that. I saw that, and we like, because I saw 20 million. I'm like, what? Let's see. Mario. They spent $500 on the movie, and the rest of the lawyers expecting Disney to come down on it. But you know what? They can't, because now it's Winnie the Pooh is in public domain. So that's the scary thing about it, is as these things go into public domain, people are going to have to send their kids to therapy because they're going to be tearing up their childhood. If you write Peter Pan the way the asshole that he actually is in the books, if that goes public domain, Peter Pan's like not even Hook's a more lovable character than Peter Pan is in the book. So wow, and the Lost Boys, they ain't a joke. So yeah, it's it's gonna be interesting to see what that budget is.
Okay, so the people that have already seen it are saying that it's got the makings of a dark and twisted cult classic.
Oh
yes. John Mendelsohn called it nightmare fuel with an extremely bizarre concept.
Oh, I'm hearing. I need to see this movie.
John Carter of Gizmodo wrote, "The appeal of Blood and Honey will depend entirely on if you're willing to meet the movie halfway on its premise and aren't immediately turned off by the idea of children's characters being turned into murderers or having some dark, edgy backstory."
Hold on, read that again. I'm not beating you. If I'm going to see Pooh and Piglet making people's heads explode with an axe, I'm not meeting anyone halfway. I'm going all the way. I'm all the way down the deep end. There's no compromise here. And yes, I want the childhoods to be shredded. Sorry. Y'all should have grown up with horror and slasher films like me. Sorry you grew up with Pooh Bear, with his wearing shirts and no pants and all that, and Piglet, So sorry.
Oh, the creators of this movie are already talking about a sequel.
Oh, yes. And judging from the trailer, I want a whole universe. I want an MCU of Blood and Honey. Oh my goodness! I have to know. So we don't have a budget and we don't have a release date. But
this was shot over a period of 10 days.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably $100 for each day. They probably catered themselves. They probably bought their own food. This is great. Everything about this is great. I'm gonna make sure, dude. I want to reach out to the makers of this movie. I want to get them on this show. I want to get them on this show. Hey, makers of this movie, if you want to come on this show and you don't want to shame yourself by showing your face on my show, we can wear the mask. One wear the Piglet mask, one wear the Pooh mask, and we can do the interview that way. This movie is great. I love movies like this because it gets back to the visceral. All joking aside, some of the best movies in history, horror-wise, have come from this train of thought. Mustafa Akkad and John Carpenter back in the 70s. This frame of mind, this outside of the box frame of mind, got us Halloween. All right, and low budget. The Captain Kirk mask with the spray paint became Michael Myers, became one of the most iconic faces of all time. That movie was made for nothing. All right. I mean, there are some of the, we have CGI and we have all this stuff now. We have all these big budget horror movies now. The genesis of horror movies going all the way back to the 50s is no money. Because for the first 5 decades of its existence, people never took it seriously as they should have. So it always got the low end of the money until, Spielberg's and Jaws and all that. And even then, it wasn't all of horror that got that money. The big name directors and all those other guys, they got the money. But the lower name guys that were just breaking through, like these guys, 10 years from now, these guys, we'll look back on this and be like, wow, remember Blood and Honey? While they're holding up their Oscars or whatever they're doing. We're going to remember guys, Blood and Honey.
James Wan started out like this, man.
Yeah. Conjuring. I mean, yeah. So I'm happy. I mean, I know I'm joking around because it's hilarious in the concept of what we were even talking about, that we're talking about Winnie the Pooh killing people and getting vengeance on Christopher Robin. I mean, that is horrific, and but on the nuts and bolts of it, it's my genre. It's brass knuckles, bare bones horror, low budget. These guys did not. And this is one of the reasons why I love Ed Wood. Ed Wood, now people look at Ed Wood a lot more favorable than they did back when he was making movies. But his movies were low budget, and for the most part, they were ridiculous on the face, right? He's one of my heroes, and here's why. He never let not having the most money stop him from making what he wanted to make. The world is better for Ed Wood having made his movies for whatever he can make them for than not ever having his movies at all.
We have a super chat.
Okay. Okay, I got you. Ed Wood has influenced so many filmmakers since he's been around. I wish he had a better ending. I wish he had a better story. I'm glad that the movies came out and actually did him justice. And Martin Landau ended up winning an Academy Award for playing Bela Lugosi, and these guys remind me of that. They're making their movie. Someday they'll have millions upon millions to make a better movie, make a more polished movies, but they're not letting the lack of a budget stop them from getting things done. And I wish people would apply that to all walks of life.
That's what's awesome.
Have to wait,
That's what's awesome about indie creators, I mean, even Blumhouse started out cheap. You know what I'm saying?
Real cheap. Started out $7 million for Invisible Man. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And you've got these little companies like A24, Blumhouse, and all these little indie companies are making amazing horror movies. And this is
Fourth. I feel you, Fourth.
Yes, I agree.
This is the greatest super chat that you've ever sent. You just made the world a better place with this idea, and I hope that these gentlemen that are watching, because hey, they're low budget just like me, so they could be watching the show. I'll send them a link. I'll animate it back. Listen, I'm not into cartoons, but if you add the 3Ds to a cartoon, I'm in. I'll watch.
Oh, dude, if you need the 3Ds in a cartoon, I've got a couple for you, man. Ever seen Heavy Metal? Wizards.
Yeah, that's the original. Yeah, that's the
Wizards is awesome too. If you ever seen Wizards, Wizards has an interesting connection to something we were talking about earlier. The Lord of the Rings cartoon by Ralph Bakshi. Ralph Bakshi actually wrote Wizards and American Pop.
That fits. Dude, that would be great. The premise of this alone. And the fact that people abandoning their childhood friends, and what would your friends do if you abandoned them? I kind of feel I feel sorry for Pooh Bear and Piglet. He's all they're all he had, or he's all they had. He could move on with life. He can move on like Ewan McGregor moved on and got kids and sold out to the man. What does Pooh do? Huh? What does Piglet? Anybody ever think about them?
Yeah, so this is why you shouldn't abandon your imaginary friends, damn it.
Yeah, and the moral of the story is never let go of your imagination, because it could end up in all your friends being hacked up with an axe. Thank you for the support, Fourth 1000. But yeah, man, it's no. Listen, Chappie and everybody, I need Freddie and Jason to go away for 30 years. All right, I'm gonna pass a law.
Dude, we can't let them go away for 30 years. No.
I gotta have them go away for 3 decades because they've been mishandled lately. They've been mishandled. Their own originators of the franchise, they got goofy towards the end. Whenever a franchise goes to outer space, it's over. Okay, Leprechaun is the only franchise that went into outer space and they recovered, because you know why? One of the other greatest movies of all time, Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun in the Hood. Right now,
Leprechaun was a ridiculous idea anyway. So,
as we speak, 7:49 Pacific time, I want you to click open another YouTube window right now, and I want you to type into that search engine, "Lep in the Hood," and tell me that that's not finest. Ice-T, I know you got Law and Order. You've been on that show for over almost 25 years. I know you're the Ayatollah of rock and roll. You were in Beach Read. You were in Breaking. You were in all these movies. I know you've done some of the great heavy metal in that era with Body Count. You're a hustler, a rapper. You're everything. You'll never match your performance in Leprechaun in the Hood. The scene where him and Warwick Davis are rapping, they're going back and forth and they're rhyming. I legit strained something in myself when I saw that movie.
We've got another super chat.
Something in the world seemed right. While you're Googling and while you're YouTubing Lep in the Hood, Google the rap battle between Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun. Rapping with Ice-T. That is the only franchise that went to space and came back and got its pride back. Jason went to space? No.
The Jason X does have one of the best kills in the franchise, though. Where he freezes that broad's head and then shatters it.
Yeah. The kill scenes were up there. Some of the kill scenes, but the premise is like, what the hell, man? And then Freddy versus Jason, I thought was brutal and bad. It was just bad. So, but yeah, yeah. But yeah, I hope you're all right now. You're YouTubing Lep in the Hood, that rap song that's at the end. It's in the end credits of Leprechaun 4. It is beautiful. You think Megan Thee Stallion twerking on it? No, this is what you need to see. And then the rap battle between Warwick Davis as a Leprechaun versus, I forgot who he played in, but Ice-T is in that movie, and he could go out and win an Oscar, and it wouldn't touch this. All right, so thank you again for Fourth 1000. I'm guessing Christopher has to stay with Pooh because he's an unstoppable killing machine, and being his friend saves others till the day he dies. You know what, dude? You're not. I can't. How can I say that's off base? We're watching Pooh kill people. I've been waiting for this since September 7th, 1974. All right, all my life. This is the movie that called to me in the womb, and now it's here. It's here. All right. I have to reach out to them. Whoever makes this movie, whoever the studio is, I am begging you, let me promote this movie. Let me be the one that gathers people together for this movie. You want a horrific promo? I can get honey. I can get axes. Pig mask? Come on, it's Vegas. Might be too many of those. Let me promote your movie like I promoted these other movies. This will be the first movie that I begged and wanted to promote since we promoted Blade Runner 2049. You know what? And that's the last time I cried tears of happiness at a movie. When I'm watching the end credits of Blade Runner 2049, I'm like, I mean, the angels are coming down and all that. This is it. This is that next step. Oh, Sci-Fi Center presents Blood and Honey. Yeah, we're there, man. We're going to dive in. I want to get a psychologist on the air, like a child psychologist, and then somebody who studies serial killers and have them both on our split screen to discuss the evolution of Pooh into this. And then, hey, dude, we need to get interview Winnie the Pooh, too. It's like, why'd you do it, Pooh Bear? Oh, this is going to be great, dude. This is going to make my year. All the other delays of all the DC movies and all the other dumb movies I've seen and giving away tickets to, this is the one that's going to make my year. This is my 2020. If it's released in 2022, hopefully it's released in 2022 because it might. We didn't get an ending day, right? There's two things we're waiting for: ending and a budget. But yeah, man, Lep in the Hood about to do no good. I wish I could play that. I wish there was a way to play these videos without getting struck down because
William, I dropped the production company and the director's name in the back chat, in the private chat.
Okay. I'll jag it. Oh, yeah. Okay. I know those guys. I don't know them personally, but we've done work. Oh, yeah. Okay. Dude, we're going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen, dude. We're going to make this happen. This movie looks like like I said, there's just very few movies that just say, William, I made this for you. And this is one of them.
Dude, it's up our alley. I will say that. It's up our alley.
Yeah, so all 3Ds in the trailer.
In the trailer, man.
Not even in the movie. I don't have to wait to go, is there going to be any death, dismemberment, and destruction? I hope I'm not just. I already know it's there. We've already crossed that threshold. It's not all 3Ds are going to be there. How many times are they going to be there? We're going to do a death count. We're going to do a pig count. Or pig or bear. We got to do something fun with this. And then I'll do a contest and like how many people died in this movie? Because we did that in the Dark Knight. We did that for Dark Knight. How many people did the Joker kill in the Dark Knight? He killed a lot of people. And I forgot what the final number was, but we gave away prizes for that. So I think I gave away a Heath Ledger sideshow toy for that because somebody guessed it right on. All right, guys. I think we've covered way too much stuff today. I think we've ruined some childhoods. The overnight show, we're going to go deeper into all this. But the difference between the overnight show and tonight's show, I won't be green because I'll be at home with the really cool Hewlett Packard camera, which must have a better balancer. Microphone will be there, ring light will be there, all that, but I'll be at the house. Because when we go overnight, I just feel much more relaxed. I love that show. And like I said, we got topics we're going to discuss this Saturday night at 9:30. However, I want you guys whoever shows up to bring your topics, to bring the weight, we'll talk about whichever you guys want to talk about. We'll even talk about stuff that's on the banned list. I mean, obviously I'll probably have watched the second episode of Rings of Power by then, so I'll probably have a better understanding.
Stella says Happy William is Scary William.
This is like I said. I wish I could show you guys this trailer. I just watched this trailer. Just watch the trailer. Like I said, your life is instantly going to be better for watching the Blood and Honey trailer. Like I said, I'm going to donate, instead of donating socks to homeless people, I'm going to donate him Blood and Honey tickets. Like, look, listen, we're going to get you off the street for a couple hours. Just come to this theater and release you out into the public. Now, this movie looks awesome. And like I said, I love the spirit of this movie as much as I think I'm going to love the content of this movie. Make your movie, whether it's a business, whether it's something you've always wanted to do, find a way to get it done. People who make these low budget anything, and I understand it because I haven't always had the budget to do things the way I wanted to do it. If I had waited around for the budget to start my business open, it would never be open, and I would go into the grave without having opening. At some point in time, you have to stop dreaming about stuff and start doing stuff. And when I see people doing stuff like this, they could have waited for a couple more million or 20 million. And I'm pretty sure in the next 7, 8, 9, 10 years, somebody would have given it to them. Hell, maybe even Blumhouse would have. But they just said, no, this is our vision. This is the time for our vision. Let's do it. And they did it. They found whatever money they had for 10 days. 10 days of filming is not very expensive. All right. And look at the judging how this movie is shot, it's probably a lot of borrowed money that they're probably going to get back. If they'll get this back in merchandising, hell, depending on what the budget is, they may get it back from my screenings of it. Just me going to it, And so, like I said, I'm going to work on trying to get these guys on my show because there's going to be a lot of people who poke fun at this movie. It's going to be controversial, but I want to get them on our screen simply because, we're going to discuss the 3Ds. We're going to discuss the content of the movie, but I want them to discuss their mindset of making this movie. And I want people to hear that, and I want them to apply that mindset to everything. Getting a better job, doing something that gets you a better job, getting a skill that gets you a better job, opening up a business, filming your own movie, starting your own YouTube page, or do anything. The hardest thing the hardest part of getting anything done is to begin. All right, I'll tell you that from doing this. The hardest part to getting anything, whether it's making a movie, switching from a shitty job to a good one, elevating something else, the hardest stop, and somebody said a parked car goes nowhere. The hardest part is taking that first step into getting it done. And once you've done that, everything else starts to come together and you decide if what you're building is worth holding on to. But when I see these low budget guys, sometimes listen, Blood and Honey may be a pile of shit. I'm still going to love it because it's my type of movie for one, but because I applaud the spirit that makes this movie. I applaud to get out there and take a shot at everything you have to make this movie over 10 days and what can't be more than $100,000 worth of money. So in an era where the low budget Blumhouse movies, the lowest budget ones are $7 million. So we're, I want these guys on the screen and any independent filmmaker. I'm trying to reach out to other independent filmmakers that might not even get this far. That have taken, I know guys in Vegas that have taken 3, 4, 5 years to put out a movie because that's how long it took for them to get the resources to get it done. But they started. They took that all important first step. So in independent wrestler, you need these guys. Anything that takes you from what you are now to what you want to be, it's always that first step. So as horrific and glorious as Blood and Honey looks, that's just one of the victories. The fact that it's even being made is the ultimate victory. So I'm happy for these guys. This movie looks awesome. So let me go through the chat before yes, I'm giddy. I'm happy. happy. I mean, I wish it could be out here tomorrow. Wish I could be out here tomorrow. All right, guys. Let's see. Well, what's this? Okay, somebody's calling me a sicko. It looks like this is now William's thoughts. He should wrap every show like Rage. Hey, you know what? I really feel like that, and that's universal appeal. Like I said, especially during the COVID era, I've seen people open up businesses during the COVID era where it's the most dangerous time to open up a business, to put your finances and your time and your credibility on the line to try to better yourselves is a very scary thing to do. Most people will never try that. Most people will think about the concept in their head and they will never take that first step. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. But once that you just don't grow old and die with any regrets. That's all I say. You know, I would rather fail at what I'm doing now than be 90 and be like, damn, I left something on the table. Fuck that. Take the leap. All right, guys. Thank you, Thade, for coming in. Thank you guys for dealing with my technical issues. This was only supposed to be an hour show. I fucked that up too. But I'm going to mess around with this camera here. Like I said, I won't be doing too many in this spot, but I really want to know why I'm green in this part of the store. But the next time you see me will be tomorrow night at 9:30, and we're going to go through a pretty decent overnighter. Like I said, I want more of you guys in the show than me. I'm just there.
We'll be here.
And then we have our Game of Thrones show, and then whatever Point Action Lounge show I can invade and pop up on them. But thanks for showing up. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the topics. See you later.
Thanks for coming to see us.
I almost forgot my kick-ass outro that my sister made for me. By the way, my sister's my producer. If you notice things slightly improving and looking less ghetto by the minute, it's because of Jackie Powell.